Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Yes, the Crazy Tash is back on the go, and we're back in the garage as well. So this video is going to be a bit of a mix-up. I'm going to show some detail of the Gearbox flywheel I'm going to be doing, but I'm not going to show you all because you're a bunch of copying cunts. I'm only joking. So I'm going to show you a bit in detail of what I'm going to do here to get everything to work. And currently I've set up a piece in the lathe that we're going to machine down and make into our new spline adapter. So yeah, without further ado, we're going to get into it. We're going to crack on with the lathe and we're going to turn down this piece here and make the new spline adapter. So here we have the old spline adapter here. I had to take down the lathe and take off the welds and release the original spline. So yeah, as you can see, the new one is a good piece bigger. The reason it's bigger is because the actual flywheel itself is different, obviously. And this piece here, there's not enough meat in it for me to get bolt holes into the flywheel. So we're back over here. We've got this one on. I need to obviously turn this out to this size here. But first things first, I need to put this in the lathe and make sure this is flat and true, because we want it an interference fit. It's not going to be a press fit, but more of an interference fit. Hopefully, as long as I don't fuck it up. And yeah, that way I can get it nice and tight, put it all together and get my measurements more bang on, fit the box up. I'll do a bit of play-doh as well to make sure that the specs are all nice and close and nothing's going to be hitting, and then weld it up. Okay. She's pretty fucking true, so good enough for agriculture. Right, so obviously new clutch basket, and it's machined up just roughly just now. I had to get this here. It's an interference fit. It's pretty nice and tight actually. Pretty happy with it. So this now, as you can see, stick it in here. There we go. So that's it. Drive plate is pretty much done. So what I need to do now though is I need to now machine this to fit into here. I'll probably have to put a lip on here, get it all on, machine it up, get it all nice and central, and then when that's done I can then final weld this down here. But I'm going to assemble the box because I need to find out how far away the nose of this comes out of the box, just to make sure everything is cushy. So that goes in there. I'm sure it's this one. Yeah. So now all I need to do is measure from the nose. What's that looking like? About 17, something like that, 16, 17. And then I'll measure down to about there, which looks like probably 41ish. So 41 and 17. And then we'll do the same for the engine, and we'll see whereabouts the adapter is going to sit. And I've measured up here and I've got around about 46. So it's going to have to sit in around about, well, probably put about 6 mil in to give it a 6 mil step for this to sit in. So this will countersink in 6 mil. And then we should be in quite a good place for room. So now I've got the welder. I'm going to give this a bit of a weld. Just going to basically tack it and make sure it's true, the dial indicator true enough to get it, you know, in the ballpark, because I am going to be machining this face, and just slightly to make sure it's even truer. You know, everything has to be nice and true here. So if I've got this piece true here, which it is, I'll tack it, make sure that's true, just keep truing everything up to keep it all within spec, and then we'll do final machining on this part, and then that part will be pretty much done. And then it's onto the flywheel. So I've just stuck one tack on there just now, just as a quick preliminary tack, and you can already see how far that's out already. So I'll shoot it back up again, and then I'll get a tack at the opposite side. I might actually go and do like 3, so I'll have one there, one there, one there, because then I can get through it. So what I've done now is I cut off the shaft and put it in the lathe, and just weld it up. So yeah, she's looking no bad. I've just tacked them on there to keep it all straight. So I'm gonna put. So just doing the outside stuff now. Check the chattering. But I still need to take it down because I've got a wee bit of a low spot there. So now I've got the plate here all welded up, ready to go on to here. Down, just machine down the face, so I can get that fitted on so it slots in nice. So machined out a wee groove there, and there we go, nice and solid. So obviously I need to bolt this down, mark up, probably get in the lathe and then make a wee scuff around here, and then just so the PCD is the same, and then I can keep everything safe. Right, so I've nicked some Play-Doh from the wee ones, and I've got this piece here. I've actually just threaded these holes here because it's quite a tight fit. So once it goes on, I can actually use these as press to pull the plate off. That's the bolts down there. So I'll get this one on and I'll see what sort of clearances I've got between the bolts and these here. There we go, plenty clearance. I could maybe actually take a ball hair off here, because you can see it's quite close to that nut. So yeah, I think I'll take another little, maybe half a mil or a mil off the back of this, so that then will go on there. But I don't have to worry about the flywheel bolts rattling out, that's for sure, because everything's nice and close. Right, so I've got a wee bit of Fleetwood in the back now. I'm just tapping the holes. So making progress, making progress. Right, so there we go. All bolted up, and I'm really happy with it. So actually I better see if this still goes in here. Oh yes. So obviously next thing we need to do is measure and make sure it doesn't stick out too much. I think it was 41, so we want something less than 41. Maybe 39, 38 or something like that would be bang on, but 40 would be fine as well. Right, I've got my lovely assistant here.
Just fuck it off.
And if she was to hold that straight, we'll measure to see what we've got. She's not holding it straight, but we'll let her off.
Yeah, and your
It's our
assistant
first
there.
time. So it looks like we're pretty much bang on. I'm going to say maybe 30, 39. So I'm really happy with that. That's going to work, an absolute treat. So next stage for this would be basically bolt this all back onto the car. Right, so this is now sitting on the box. Everything's all nice and level. Nothing's sitting up. And yeah, I'll pull this engine back off now. And we'll have a look at some of the Play-Doh. So just as a sanity check, you can see here that we are sitting down nicely in spline. We probably have a good, maybe a millimetre or so play, because obviously it doesn't go down to the tapered part. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say is a bit of a success. So I'm very happy. Like I said, I've got a mil or so spare, so yeah, well that's that then. The flywheel is now done, and out with the old, and we'll get a new one stuck up in there. Right, new flywheel's on, looking all fancy. I need to take off this tray here, this stuff here underneath the car, to get room to these here, because these are just spot welded on, as you can see in a couple of spaces, and it is actually common for these to get ripped off the body. So I'm probably going to be putting a few stitches in here, stitch weld these on there and there, and then I won't have to worry about that. Right, so put a wee bit of tin foil in here. Welded these up. Where have they gone? There and there, just horrible welds. I'm now going to show you them up close, and yeah, time for the box. So rebuilding the gearbox now. Just put this cover plate on first. The torque specs to these are I don't even know. I don't even know what the torque range is set at. Just feels tight enough for the size of the bolt, so we'll go with that. And onto the new clutch basket. Right, so we have the box up here on the parts washer. Everything's looking all messy, but we're getting there. I'm just draining all the fluid out the box. I've got the baskets back in, or the main baskets themselves, and I'm just working on here the bottom bracket off the back here that goes on the chassis. Obviously we welded these up, and I'm changing up the rubbers now. So these are just hockey pucks, and I use a washer above and below it. Keep it nice and stiff. The last versions I had were like these here, just like exhaust hangers, and to be honest with you, they were a wee bit too soft. You can see the whole thing wobbling about the place, so these should be a lot stiffer. So that's what we're going to go with. Rev 2 of Gearbox mounts. Right, so we've got 2 of the DCT boxes here. I've got another one in the car. There's Kseries, always here to come save the day. And we're just pulling clutch baskets apart. I've got clutch baskets everywhere, like 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, there's bits everywhere. So it's good though, we've got spares, so I can blow up a few of them. Anyway, I've got this basket off here. I'm going to pull this apart here because this is one of the boxes I bought off my mate. I want to see if the clutches are burnt, because when I was emptying the fluid out, it was pretty brown, so and DCT fluid comes out like, it's kind of like a light honey. So I think these might be cooked. But to be honest, I'm not too worried about the clutches themselves. I'm more worried about the cover plate. So it doesn't really matter regardless, but I'll pull it apart and see. But yeah, you can see down here, you've also got the clutch pack. You just spin it off with this front one here, and then in the back here, you've got this drive down here, which drives the oil pump and obviously transmits fluid through this shaft here. But as you can see from this point here, it is just basically a manual gearbox. From there on, we're backwards basically. Sorted. Some BMW guy and he's fucking, and he's schmucks just now in his lederhosen shouting at the fucking screen. 9 is not the good ambient temperature to be constructing the box in the garage. Top ones. These are wiped in as well. Right, it's time. Get your fucking box in. Definitely sliding like that. Looks like I'm working at a factory and I ken what I'm doing, I need to find out if this is the odd or if it's the even gears. When I go for the big power stuff on the dyno, I'll need to be in that gear. Like in an odd or an even gear. It's a beastie. Leave that beastie in there. Become part of the box. There we go. Sorted. So now, as you can see here, we've got our inner and our outer clutch packs, and yeah, she's looking good. All we need to do now is assemble the bearings, stick the bearings in, and tighten it all up. So we'll get there. We'll get there. So just make sure you've got everything plenty lubed up with plenty of oil. Bash it in there. You don't want to cross thread that because it's a fucking super fine thread. And as for torque, no idea. I'm just going to nip it up tight. Yeah, a few whirligigs. And last but not least, a nice shiny new clutch basket. Pin there. Go.
Ouch.
Positive sound there. This the middle piece. So there we have it, 2 boxes on the deck. Everything's all good. I've got this one I've just put back together again just to keep everything in one place, and this box is what's going in the car, obviously with my modified rear end and new gearbox mounts. Yeah, everything looks swell, and we've fitted the new filters and that to this, so just need to put the adapter plate on, stick the box back in. So yeah, I'll probably do that later on the night, most likely. I've also got to go over my prop as well. My prop shaft, I've got the new bearing for it. If you remember, my bearing had collapsed, so I used hot glue to support it, and that done 140 mile/hour runs, no problem. Yeah?
Giving you your 10-minute warning.
Giving me my 10-minute warning.
I've got the dentist.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, so this is the new one here, and what I'm actually going to do, it is relatively tight actually, and it's nice and stiff, but I'm going to fill this up with some sort of, I would say rubber, but it's probably going to be the hot glue gun again, because that did work quite well. Anyway guys, hope you're well. I was planning on going crail with this, but I'm probably not going to bother now. You know, I could probably put the box in, put the prop on, and I've still got like another day or so to go, but to be honest with you, there's no much point, because I'm not going to be that much faster. Nothing's changed with the car. I would have just sorted the gearbox, so I'll just have to get some pulls down on the old draggy. So yeah, fun and games. Anyway, big love from me and Carnexter and the missus. And as per usual guys, we'll catch you in the next vid. Cheers.